Hey fans, followers, customers. Our topic today, intercooling of the Mark 1 2.5 TFSI CEPA CEPB TTRS Mark 1 RS3 Mark 1. As you know, we started our company with those vehicles in 2008, and we started to build intercoolers, exhausts and downpipes for these models to support our stage 2 and stage 3 packages. What you also know, in those times 450 or even 500 horsepower have been a great achievement and have marked the top of the iceberg in terms of power on these vehicles. But today, as you know, we have more effective hybrids that push out close to 600 horsepower even on the K16 platform, or even up to 700 horsepower limited to the fuel supply with an TC870 on these steel block engines generation 1. So the supporting mods for these power levels need to be redesigned as well. Here is the result of our latest designed RS3 Mark 1 TTRS Mark 1 intercooler. Because the power levels have raised a lot in the last years, and at the moment 600 to 700 horsepower is not quite rare on these cars. It's pretty normal to get around 600 horsepower, and most of the requests that we get are targeting 600 to 700 horsepower. And as I said, here's our solution in terms of intercooling. Our old intercooler was a tube and fin designed intercooler, which was made for around 500, 530 horsepower. You could also use it for 600 horsepower, but the intercooler didn't like it very well in terms of cooling as well, so we had to redesign this product. This core is rated up to 900 horsepower from the manufacturer. We would rate the complete intercooler for consistent and reproducible 650 to 700 horsepower, so you can continuously force this load on the intercooler and it will keep this cooled without significant temperature increase. You can also run more than 650 or 700 horsepower with an intercooler, but this range 650 to 700 is where the intercooler feels quite well, and you can, as I said, really load and load and load the car, and you won't see a big difference in intake temperature. We also have a thermal camera which shows you the temperature increase on the surface of the intercooler. So you will later see in the video the temperature coming from the inlet side of the intercooler where the air is very hot, and you will see this in the colors as well, going to the outside of the intercooler and getting cooled by the intercooler. We just need to add at this point that the camera just recognizes temperature on the surface, which is not directly connected with the internal temperature, but you have a reference to see where it enters and where it leaves in terms of temperature. We will make a stress test for this intercooler on the dyno today. We will compare the power gains over a stock intercooler on a horsepower on a 430 horsepower car, stage 2, and we hope to show you today as good as possible how important a good intercooler is and how good our new product is. Hey guys, so now we are testing the original intercooler with the stage 1 equipped car and some hardware that I told you already in the beginning of the video. On the dyno we are going to make 5 pulls after each other and see what inlet temperature we have, and we are going to see also how this impacts the power and the torque that we have. And yeah, let's see how the stock intercooler handles this stage 1. So now let's start. We start at 30 degree intake air temperature. Just get to the 4th gear. Okay, so now we see 26 degree and we are going to start the pull right now. Pull number 1. The first pull, I could already see 55 degree intake air temperature, and we have 420 horsepower and 690 Newton meter. So let's get to pull number 2. Just slow down the car a little bit. And prepare for run number 2. Now we are starting at 39 degree intake air temperature. I did already see 60 or 70 degree intake air temperature. Let's see what we have power wise. 417 horsepower and 680 Newton meters. So let's go to pool number 3. Activate run number 3. We are starting already at 50 degree intake air temperature. Degree intake air temperature, so I don't think that we can make 2 more pulls. What we see power wise is now only 400 horsepower, 650 Newton meter. It already drops 50 Newton meters and more than 20 horsepower, and the intake air temperature is already collapsing. So what we can see, or what we can say at this point, we do not need to make 2 more pulls. We see that the stock intercooler is already collapsing with this stage 1 car here. So what we are going to do now, we are going to switch now to our own intercooler. Now we have put the HPerformance Sport Series intercooler into this TTRS, and we make 3 pulls like we did with the stock intercooler. We will see what power numbers we deliver, and we will also see what is the intake temperature before the pull, after the pull, and after 3 pulls compared over stock. Let's start. Go into the pull at 26 degree, 27, and here we go. So we end with the closest same temperature as we started the pull. Impressive, really impressive. Power wise, we have 436 horsepower, 703 Newton meter. Wow, that's a power jump compared over stock. Now let's make the next pull, 4th gear. Pull down the car. Yes, 1 more pull. We start our pull now with 27 degree again. Here we go. And we end with 30 degree. Really impressive. End of the pull. Here we go. Let's see what we have in terms of power. 440 horsepower. It jumped on top again. 702 Newton meters. That's really crazy. Here you see, this is the gain of a good working intercooler compared over stock. It's not only the temperature, it also reflects in power as well. Here we go, pull number 3. We start now with 27 degree again, 27, 28. Here we go into the pull. Nearly identical to the pull before. We end with 30 degrees, 31 degree. This is really impressive. 435 horsepower. It is, it's crazy. It's just crazy. I cannot say anything else. 695 Newton meters. So let's just slow down the car a little bit so you can hear me better when I'm talking. Okay, what we could see now is a real working intercooler, which has the capacity 3 pulls after each other, even increasing among the pulls. So normally, as you have seen on the stock intercooler, if you do more and more pulls, the intercooler, the power is going down by pull by pull by pull. And on the stock intercooler, we need to stop at pull number 3 because we have reached 80 degree intake air temperature, whereas we had now
30 degrees, totally relaxed. It was consistent, stable. We could reproduce the power. We could even ramp the power in the pools. This is, it just reflects a well working intercooler, and you could see the data as well. I can show you the data now on the computer again to have a better comparison again, stock over the HPerformance Sport Series, and even the thermo pictures that we have done in the videos where you can see the colors representing the temperature on the surface of the intercooler. I will show a lot about the cooling capacity of the intercooler. So now we are going to look a little bit at the data, but what we could see now was already very impressive. So let's go to the computer and see the data.
Hey guys, this is the last part of our video now, where we wanted to show you, first of all, here you can see the difference between the sizes of the stock intercooler and the HPerformance Sport Series. The HPerformance one is longer and definitively higher than the stock one. We are using a 900 horsepower rated core for our intercooler, and the intercooler comes with everything that you need. Towing eye, you need the fixing points on top. So it's everything in here. RS3 8P looks a little bit different, but the core and the end tanks, so the performance on the RS3 is the same as in the TTRS, which you could see today in the video. Now let's have a look at the data, which is pretty interesting. We made today quite a lot of pulls, as we have made this video in German and English. So we had the chance to make an average value of all pulls with the stock intercooler, which you can see here as a brown curve. This is the average of every measuring we did today. It was more than 20 measurings that we did. And the green line representing the HPerformance Sport Series intercooler average of every pull that we have done. And you can see a big difference here on top, especially between the HPerformance and the stock one, because the stock intercooler, every time we did the second pull, the intercooler was collapsing. We ran into the 60 degree intake air temperature, and the power curve then drops massively. And this is because, and this is the reason why you have that much difference between the green and the brown line here on top where my cursor is. This is the difference in power, which is a really visible big difference. And on the lower side here you can see the difference in torque, green, the HPerformance, and brown, the stock one. So over the whole ref range, way more torque than stock. Look on the left side, we have earlier spool, we have earlier power with the HPerformance over the stock one. And on top, as I said, it's extremely visible how much more power we achieve. It's an average close to 20 horsepower more. Then you can see in the temperature measuring, which is very interesting. Here we start with the stock intercooler. We have 27 degree intake air temperature when we run into the pool at around 2000 RPM. Then on top of this iceberg, this is the RPM scale, on top on 7000 RPM we have already 56 degree intake air temperature, which is pretty high. On the second pull, we start our pull with around 39 degree. And we end our pull on top of the curve with a round of 70 degree. So this is already way too high. This is already, safety features are already active at this temperature range, and the power is dropping massively. At the third pull, the cooler has a starting temperature of 51 degree. It does not really cool down between the pulls as it's fully overloaded. 50 degree at the beginning, and at the end you can see 80, 85 degree. This is a horrible scenario in terms of power and also in terms of cooling and reliability as well. So you can see that the stock cooler is really collapsing. It does one pull quite okay, ending at 57, which is already in the safety feature mode. And second pull, when you start at close to 40, you ran into the full safety features. Let's compare our HPerformance intercooler. Pull 1, we start at around 27 degree, 1500 RPM, and we ramp up to 28 degree, so 1 degree above. This is because, have a look, we start at 27, and now have a look. And when the boost comes, when the throttle body opens fully, it drops 26, 25, 24, 23, 21. So it has a kind of recovery while it's starting to make boost, while the turbocharger makes boost in the build-up process, and at the end we have 29 degree. Second pull, we start here with 27 degree, we end up with 30 degree, 3 degree above, and the third pull again 28 degrees. So you can see it's always going down to 27, 28, 30 degrees. So it recovers extremely good pull after pull. And on top you see 3 degrees above the starting temperature, the 31 degree temperature. That shows you, hopefully very detailed and very clear, that our intercooler is quite an unimaginable difference to the stock one. It recovers extremely fast. It has a lot of cooling capacity between the pulls, and we could easily make 3, 4, 5 pulls after each other. The temperature always recovers to a starting temperature of 28, 27, maximum 30 degree, and then it ramps up to maybe 3, 4 degree above the starting of the pull. So it's extremely durable over time as well. A so-called very effective cooling solution. If you look for a good cooling solution for your Audi RS3 or your TTRS, our HPerformance Sport Series intercooler is in stock in huge quantities and also in the winter sale. If you have any more questions regarding the work-wise, the efficiency or whatsoever, get in contact via mail, via phone, just let us know where we can help, and then we can supply you and your car a very well working cooling solution. Thank you for watching our video. We hope to see you in one of our next videos again. Take care, cheers, bye bye.